Hello everybody, I've been playing some Sid Meier's Alien Crossfire here recently and kind of decided here that I'm going to record some of it. So yeah, if you don't know what this game is, it's basically whenever you have like a space victory in the other Civ games, you fly off in your spaceship and then you fly towards Alpha Centauri and land there. And that's kind of how you win the game in the other ones, or you at least get to the flying off tube part once you make the spaceship. Anyways, this is kind of like a conclusion as to what happens when you get to Alpha Centauri. So yeah, without further ado, we'll go ahead and start jumping into it. It was a little bit hard to capture this game, so I actually am doing this a little bit differently with the program I use. So you'll see my little stop button up here. I hope it doesn't become too much of a nuisance, but it's kind of there to stay. Sorry. Anyways, so we are going to be somebody, some faction on this planet, which is referred to as, well, planet. So yeah, go ahead and just do random map, and we'll go ahead and do standard. And what I hope to do in this is, when I first saw this game, I was really confused, and it kind of put me off. So it took me a while to actually get into this game and learn it for myself, and really start to enjoy it. So what I hope to do here is to kind of give a bit of a tutorial on how the game's played, so you guys can kind of play yourself. Now, I haven't played. I've only been playing here recently, so I'm not that good. I'm okay, I think, but I'm not going to be playing on like any super awesome difficulty down here. I'm just going to be doing talented, which I think is kind of in the middle. So, and I'm using some different rules here. So like they want there's I think when you start up, like, blind research is on, so I'm gonna turn that off so I can do normal researching. So you want to take a look here at the rules I'm using. Just it's like all the normal victories. Flexible starting location, which it doesn't really do. It's instead of starting the game as a base, you start as a colony pod. So I guess you can choose whether or not you want to move, but you usually don't. So world map's not visible, and supply pods are only at landing sites. I think it really means is they're not scattered everywhere. I don't really like having them on because they're kind of like I guess like villages and other things like that in the other Sid Meier's game where you can get stuff from them, but I like to keep it as non-luck based as possible, I guess. And then put bell curve on so no random events. Okay, so I am playing with the expansion pack, so I have a bunch of new races and stuff, but I'm going to be playing as the original 6. So I'll go ahead and give a brief overview of them. Now I've mostly been playing as the human Hive, and I'll tell you right now that it's probably who I'm going to play as. But I'll go through all of them. So,
in the Great Commons of Gaia's London, we have a tall and particularly...
Click here on info. You can see this leader here is Deidre Sky. You can get some background on her. Basically, these are all people who have gotten onto the ship that flew to Alpha Centauri. Every one of them is vastly different. Some of them are polar opposites of each other. But they all have their own bios and own stats and stuff like that. So Lady Deidre Sky here is basically a hippie, and she wants to preserve all the native life forms and crap like that, which sounds really hippie, but what she really wants to do, and it doesn't tell you what she really wants to do, is breed all of them and breed all these fucking crazy creatures and then murder everybody who doesn't agree with her. So she's like PETA if PETA put laser beams on all of their animals. Something like that. So she gets like bonuses to planet, which means I actually don't even know. I'm assuming she gets. Let's see. If I got a bonus to planet, what would I get? I would get probably more damage to the native life and probably more resistant to their damage. It's probably what it is. She gets efficiency, which I think is. Actually, I don't know the efficiency stat either. I don't use these stats as the human hive. I think it has to do with being able to generate energy, which is like money in this game. She has negative to morale, which means her bases support less units, which I'll get into that later, and negative to police, which means her bases can riot easier, sorta. Like she can't have as many people policing her towns, I guess. That's kind of what it is. I guess she gets +1 nutrients, which is like +1 food from fungus squares, and we'll go into that stuff later. So that's Teacher Sky. She has a quote as well. If you want to pause it and read it, you can. Otherwise, whatever. And then I'll go to my guy last. So then the next guy we have here is Zakharov, and he's basically your science guy. So if you like playing the guy who just sits back and techs up, and then if anybody just crosses him, you just obliterate anybody with like your massive amounts of lazy beams, then this is kind of the guy for you. So he has +2 research, which I believe gives him a 20% research bonus, and he has -2 to probing. So probing is like spying in this game. You have probe teams you can make, and then you send them after enemy units or bases, and then when they reach that, you invest like a certain amount of money into an action, and then they do it. So it'd be like mind controlling units, or stealing data, or sabotaging buildings, stuff like that. So he has -2 to it. So it means when people make probing actions against him, they get bonuses, I think. Or when he makes probing actions against other people, I think it costs him more is actually what it might do. So he gets a free network node at every base. Network node is something that gives you like 50% more research at it, which is pretty cool. Bonus tech, pretty cool. Extra drone for 34 citizens. A drone is basically like a worker that won't work. So, Morgan Industries, he is like your tycoon character. So he's the guy who's all about making the money. And he does it pretty well. So, and again, in this game, it's energy credits or just energy, as you'll see. So he's plus economic, minus support, gets some bonuses, starts with some money, but 100 energy isn't that much. Okay, and then we have the Spartan Federation by Colonel Corazon Santiago. Blah blah blah. So she is, I guess, crazy, but kind of, I don't know. She gets good morale bonuses, obviously, as it's all presented here. She's kind of like, arm all of her people up with guns and build military units out the ass and just conquer people that way. So that's kind of, I imagine what kind of strategy you would use with her. So she gets some bonuses to police, minus to industry, which is kind of shitty, because I believe industry gives you more like hammers, I guess, in the other games, so like more production. So she gets negatives to production, which kind of sucks, but she gets good morale, which is good, because then her bases can support more units, so she'll have more units out there that are not draining her minerals and stuff. So, which is, minerals are basically your production in this game. Then down here we have the Lord's Believers. They are the polar opposite of Zakharov, where Zakharov loves to research and stuff. Sister Miriam Godwinson fucking hates technology. So she gets research penalties, But she also gets a really cool bonus because her people are fanatical, crazy, god-fearing people. So they get bonuses when attacking people, which is pretty cool. She also gets +1 to probe. I guess that's the justification for it. I don't... Because when I think of +1 to probe, I think of like they're better at hacking, or they're better... Well, I guess it could be like they're better at mind control, which is something you can get out of religions, depending on how you look at it. I'm not going to get into that debate, but I guess it's a bonus. It's not bad. +2 support from her people, which is cool. Oh, you can field more troops. -2 research, of course. She doesn't like technology, so a little bit hard to tech up with her. -1 planet, which I'm assuming means it's just harder for her to fight planet life and stuff. So she also gets no research points for until 2110, which I believe is 10 turns after the game has started. So, and then she can't use social engineering. Some of these people have that stuff too. Can't use social engineering as well. Like she can't use free market economics and stuff. So we have the last people you can play as, which is the Peacekeepers, run by Pravin Lal. And he's basically your bureaucracy guy, your politician, I guess you can say. He doesn't really have any big drawbacks or bonuses. It's just -1 efficiency. It isn't that bad. He gets an extra talent for every 4 citizens, which is pretty cool. You can have him. You can have the talent do other things besides just work tiles. But his biggest bonus is once you locate everybody on the planet, you can call them together to do a council meeting. And when you call them together, you vote for a leader, and then the leader can. I actually think what he does is, I've never gotten that far in the game. Like I said, I'm still pretty new at it, but I've seen gameplay of it. So what the leader, I believe, does is he can call more council meetings, and then get certain bonuses, or like certain things passed, certain laws passed in the game. I know out of his capital he gets like energy credit bonuses and stuff, but I'm not too sure. So one of his his big ability here is he gets double votes when it comes to planetary stuff. So, and that's my phone. Alright, here a minute. Okay. So here's the guy I'll be playing as. Chairman Shinji Yan of the Human Hive. Basically, he's his background's Great China. His people get +1 growth, rapid population, +1 industry. They build their stuff faster. -2 economy, which means I'm not going to be able to rush very many things. Like I'm not going to be able to spend my energy credits because I'm not going to have very many to like rush buildings or rush units. I will every now and then, but not to the extent of Morgan, of Morgan Industries. So that's my drawback. My other bonus is I get a free perimeter defense at each base, which is pretty fucking cool, because the perimeter defense gives you 100% defense bonus at the base. So can't use democratic policies, but really, who fucking cares? Because democracies are stupid. It's all about dictatorships, police states. So that is an overview of all the characters. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out here. I'm not going to really get into the other races here. Or the other, not races, but factions. So I'm not really going to get into these guys. I actually don't know very much about them, but I'll be playing as the Human Hive. So when I come back in the next video, we'll go ahead and hit Planetfall and get this shit going. So I will see you guys then.